Hello and welcome to ZuluNet. We have a Warhammer 40k video. Kyle and myself, we play the mission The Relic from the basic rulebook. Alright, so we're getting into the deployment, and the way I've kind of cut the video together, I'll call out the units that are getting deployed. Drop the Plague Burst Crawler there, the Morkanaut. And you can check out the whole list on what exactly is there. 7 Plague Marines going down right there at the base of that turret terrain piece. And if you know, there's like a circular terrain next to the wall bit, and then in the middle there's like kind of a courtyard thing. That's where the relic is. We have a Death Copter going down over there to the left. We have another 7-man Plague Marine squad, another Death Copter going down, and then another 7-man Plague Marine squad. Each of those has a Blight launcher, excuse me. I love those things. Got a Plague Surgeon going down. I think it's like a 13 or 14 man orc unit. It's just a bunch of boys. Bunch of boys going down. And earlier he dropped the warp head right there in the middle of that like terrain piece, sort of back there on his side. The Malignant Plaguecaster is going down there in the middle of that squad of Plague Marines. We've got another orc boy squad. Pretty high model count game for a 1,000-point game. It is important to notice that he does have the custom force field in the Morkanaut. And Demon Prince, a unwinged Demon Prince with 2 Malefic talons going down. Another orc squad going down. My last piece, which is my Warlord, is a winged Demon Prince with Malefic talons. He also has the Suppurating plate Relic. Another Death Copter. Then a War Boss on a bike, which is his Warlord. That thing is a dangerous model. Another Death Copter. He's got tons of Death Copters. All the death coming from the copters in this game. And he also put a Death Copter in Deep Strike. Alright, getting into the movement. Moving those guys forward. And just a little format note on this video. We'll have commentary over the movement phases, and then we'll have kind of like a recap in the game. Alright, so the Relic right there in the middle. It's kind of hard to see because it blends in, but it's right there in the middle of the table. Moving up, my main thoughts here are, I know that he's Orks. I know that he can move fast. And so I don't want to just run up and grab the Relic. It's very tempting because it's just right there, right? But I know that he can move fast. He's got that War Boss, which means he can do a WOG. If that's what it's exactly called anymore. But anyways, he can do a WOG where he can move and then advance and then charge and do all of that. So he can cover a ton of distance. And I really don't want to just meet orcs on the charge without getting a chance to shoot them at all. Notice I bumped those Plague Marines back because I forgot that they are 5-inch movement instead of 6-inch movement. So they're slow, but it's okay. Because Plague Marines they have their toughness 5, which is completely, just utterly huge. Like, it's awesome. T5 Plague Marines, amazing. And then they have Disgusting Resilient, which is a feel no pain on a 5-up, right? And if you're not familiar with the game, a feel no pain roll, Disgusting Resilient, that's something that happens after all the saving throws are thrown. All right, turn 1 Death Guard, shooting and psychic phase. I only did Miasma of Pestilence on that front unit, which hasn't come into play yet. But shooting, I took out 2 Orks and a Death Copter that is no longer there. And then that's all from shooting from my 2 front squads of Plague Marines. And then my Plague Burst crawler of the Plague Burst, put 2 wounds into the Morkanaut, which is not going to be a big deal because he has a, what is it called?
A big mech.
A big mech inside of it. So that. All right. Picking up on Disgusting Resilient. Happens after all the saving throws are thrown, so it's like an extra chance to save wounds. And even though it's on a 5-up, which is a 1/3 chance on a d6 dice, it comes through. It comes through a lot, especially if you have a lot of Plague Marines. You just end up saving a lot just out of statistics. All right, he's moving up that Morkanaut. I'm pretty concerned here as to what exactly he's going to do. I don't have a lot of experience playing Orks, so he's definitely going to pull some things out of hat that I was not quite aware of. And Kyle is a good player up until this game. I have not won against him, and this is kind of, I'm getting back into 40k. I didn't play too much of it before. Really trying to wrap my head around it, which there's a ton to wrap around as far as that is concerned. Yeah, so anyways, I'm pretty cautious here. Like I said, I don't want to just run up and grab that relic. I am very worried about him running up, grabbing the relic, and then running away with one of the boys or like something like that, and then having a wall with the rest of his Orks that I basically have to waste too much time trying to get through. I'm kind of worried about that. And he, like I mentioned before, he's definitely got some tricks up his sleeve. If you're not familiar with Orks, they have a psychic ability, and to me it's just crazy that it's a psychic ability. It's very orky, but it's called the jump, which means that he can just basically throw an infantry unit just anywhere on the table as long as it's 9 inches away from any of my stuff, which is just insane, especially when you're talking about Orks that can get like up to 30 orc boy units or whatever, like some massive units, right? It's just, I'm not knocking it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's a very orky thing to do. So I'm not knocking it, but it is just like, oh, okay. And especially if like, for instance, if you had Bad Moons, right? And you had like a whole massive tank buster or DACA or something where, so Bad Moons, you get to reroll the ones and you get to reroll the ones on misses. Yeah, and then the orc built-in ability of DACA, you get like an extra chance, you get an extra hit, or not an extra hit, an extra shot every hit roll of a 6. So if you have an orc army that has lots of shootiness going on, even though orcs are not known for their shooting ability, they can definitely put down some lead just through sheer volume. And then you can have those goofy orky things like the jump, and you could like throw some tank busters up there, then they shoot, and then like the Bad Moons have a strategy that allows them to shoot twice, right? So anyways, there's some weird crazy stuff. He's not playing Bad Moons, but just to demonstrate, and there's other cultures, orc factions that allow you to like get extra on the move. And they have a lot of play, but all that to highlight the jump. They do have a stratagem that allows them to bring back a unit from like the side of the table, essentially. So imagine, a massive orc boy blob, like the 3 that he has down there. If I don't kill them outright completely, let's say there's just one orc boy left from that unit going into like, I think it's his movement phase or something. He spends the stratagem and you just bring back the whole unit full strength onto the side of the table. So lots of shenanigans. All right, so he's working up that left side. I had definitely, all right, we're going into Psychic. Kyle's Psychic phase is done. His Warp Head cast to jump and jumped his dudes forward, and then he cast Warpath on him. So if he pulls this charge off, it might be complicated for me. All right, shooting recap. He got 1 Plague Marine with fire from the Stompa. Yeah.
The Morkanaut.
The Morkanaut. Yeah, and he rolled 2 mortal wounds on himself, which is great. Charge. He pulled off the charge here, and then 1 Death Copter and his war boss. There we go. War boss on the bike. Been in a pickle.
Oh.
All right, Assault phase. Kyle's assault phase is done, and the turn is over. How many orcs did I kill? I killed 9 orcs from that squad. He only got 2 Plague Marines, 1 from each of those squads. Those are 2 different squads. And then, so he had an ineffective charge from the war boss on the bike.
I did 1 wound.
He did 1 wound. And then my Demon Prince killed him in return, and then he spent, was it 2 CPs?
2 CP for Orks is never truly beaten.
Orks is never truly beaten, and he fought back, and then he got 7 wounds, which if he didn't get that 1 wound earlier. Well, anyways, so Demon Prince over there is dead, and his war boss is dead. On to turn 2. All right, so as I was about to mention, he was working up that left side with his war boss and those death copters, and it's kind of like a canalizing effect going down with that wall feature right there in the middle. But I did not expect that war boss to go with that far. I think I definitely gained an appreciation for that. Sucker can move fast, and it's a freaking beast in melee. So I actually lucked out a lot in the fact that he didn't just outright kill my Demon Prince first, which he obviously has the capability of doing, and that I was able to return fight and actually kill him. And he still got the Demon Prince, which I'm sad about. But what I was gonna mention earlier is that I had a complete tactical error in my deployment, because I was kind of deploying my Plague Marines around this sort of big gun turret thingy in the middle of my deployment zone, and I was not able to screen my Demon Prince effectively. All right, now over here on, let's see, my side left, or what? The screen right. That's much easier. I'm kind of working my Demon Prince. All right, so I'm thinking about getting that Demon Prince into either contact, trying to take out that Morkanaut, because honestly, my Demon Prince, my 1 remaining Demon Prince, is really the only thing capable of really taking that thing out. And another good thing too about the Demon Prince is that it is a Psyker, right? So I can smite, and then I do have a Malignant Plaguecaster in that, and my other blob of green up towards the top middle. But it's a lot of wounds to get through. He does have a big mech in there that can repair a lot of wounds. So I'm pretty worried. My basic idea with the Demon Prince is to pop Putrescent Vitality, get him up to Strength 8, where I can wound the T8 Morkanaut on 4-ups, right? So that's kind of my answer, and then maybe do some wounds with hopefully do some wounds with the Plague Burst Crawler that has a Strength 8 weapon, right? That's kind of my idea, but we'll see how it goes. Getting into the Psychic phase now. All right, Psychic phase. Demon Prince sunk 3 wounds with Smite into the Morkanaut. Sunk 2 wounds. The Plaguecaster. There we go. Sunk 2 wounds into that Orc unit, and then cast Miasma Pestilence on the Plague Burst Crawler. All right, shooting. The only thing that happened, it's not too many things that can shoot, is Plague Burst Crawler got 2 wounds with the mortar into the Morkanaut, and everything else missed. All right, turn 2 Death Guard Assault is over. That Orc squad is dead, and they fought each other and nothing happened. And that's it. All right, so I did fail to mention that he did do the jump thing and threw that boy squad up there right in my face and got the charge off, which I was pretty worried about. My Plague Marines proved to be really resilient, though. I do have the Plague Surgeon there, which means I get to re-roll disgusting resilient rolls of 1. And I actually converted a lot of those. So my Plague Marines are sticking around. They're surprising me, even, as to how I think I just didn't have a full appreciation of the combination of the toughness 5, of a toughness 5 model, with that has a feel no pain, right? It's pretty good, especially when it's just pretty good, you know, just like flat out, it's pretty good. They stick around. But again, as I mentioned, he still has that monster Morkanaut running around. I really don't have to worry about the War Boss, which makes me feel super good. The Deathcopters, they're over there, but they're more of just like, they're really annoying, and they're not always easy to kill. Sometimes they can be really easy to kill, but sometimes not so much, right? So, but they're really doing a harassment role up there on my right flank, right? But he's got a lot of damage potential, a lot of hits from his little green blob there in the middle that is rapidly approaching not only the Relic, but the rest of my force. And I really feel, again, I'm kind of worried that he's going to do some shenanigans to grab the Relic and then run, which I'm not worried about chasing with the Demon Prince. He's winged, and with dual Malefic Talons, that Demon Prince actually can handle Orks pretty good, especially if he pops Putrescent Vitality. However, he still has that monster Morkanaut running around, which could tie up or get in the way of that Demon Prince pretty effectively until it's gone, and that just might take way too much time if he grabs the Relic and run. So we'll see. He's kind of backtracking. I think he's making room for that Morkanaut. So yeah, that's what he's doing. I did play in this game, however. I don't remember exactly how everything went. Not to mention trying to make things nice and suspenseful for you, the audience. All right, so moving that thing closer to the Relic and closer to all of my guys. Never played against a Morkanaut, so I'm not quite sure exactly what this thing is really capable of. I do know it has a ton of wounds, ability to repair those wounds, and it's T8. T8, if you're just getting into the game, 8 is a very magical number, whether you're toughness 8 or your strength 8, because a lot of weapons are, and a lot of units are strength 4, right? Or toughness 4. So if you have a strength 8 weapon, that doubles, you end up going to 2-ups to wound against a strength 4 model. Or if you have a toughness 8 model, then your opponent, who is usually, you know, somewhere around strength 4 with most of their stuff, they have to hit on, or they have to wound on a 6, right? So it's huge. All right, so Kyle there, so the Relic is what we're fighting for in the middle. The Relic can only actually be picked up by an infantry model. He forgot this. I think this game would be drastically different for me right now if those Deathcopters could pick up that Relic, because they just run up, grab it, and then run away to a corner, and I do not have the, I am sure my Demon Prince, yeah, but yeah, other than that, I do not have the mobility in this list at all. Yeah, and as far as this list goes, is kind of like the beginning of my brainstorming on having many more Plague Marines. Spoiler alert for the next battle report. However, All right, so he's bringing those annoying, pesky Deathcopters right into my side. And I'm not super worried about him killing my Plague Marines.
All right,
All right,
Orks turn to Psychic Phase. The Warphead back here cast the jump, and he jumped his, 12 boys back here, cleverly, hiding in behind that, so when he charges, he only has one Plague Marine shooting at him for Overwatch. Then he went for Smite. No,
did Warpath.
did a Warpath, that's right. Got it, and then who'd you Warpath?
That unit of boys there.
All right, that unit of boys, and then he perils it on it and took one mortal wound. And on to the shooting. Okay, shooting. We got fire from the Deathcopters into this front row and killed 2 Plague Marines. And then fire from the Morganaut into here, took 3 wounds off the Plague Burst Crawler. And that was it. All right, end of turn 2. Orcs assault phase is over, and we had the Morganaut dropped 4 Plague Marines there, and the one remaining passed his morale. Then we lost 1 Plague Marine there and 1 Deathcopter, and then
2 Deathcopters actually.
well, there,
Oh,
and then 1 Deathcopter there, and then lost 1 Plague Marine from this squad, and 3 orcs from that squad,
And the Orks proceeded to loot the ruined Deathcopter that was nearby.
yeah, they looted, so this squad has a better armor save. And then some tactical notes. I went ahead and spent counteroffensive, or 2 CP for counteroffensive, so that the Plague Surgeon that suspiciously looks like a Noxious Blightbringer could attack the Deathcopter. I thought he was going to kill him. He did not. So, but I got a 1 wound on him, and then I only got 1 wound in the other combat. So, yeah, I killed him anyway. So, yep, that's it.
Yeah, I have no idea how that Noxious Blightbringer model ended up as a Plague Surgeon. Don't worry about it. Don't devote too much thought to it. All right, so yeah, so he has gotten that giant Morganaut that still has 14 wounds on it, right there in the middle. Almost scythed through that Plague Marine squad, and yes. So, but again, if I can pop Putrescent Vitality, which is just a Warp Charge 5, that's not hard, right? That's not too much to ask for. On the Demon Prince there, then he will be at Strength 8. He has 8 attacks on the charge with the dual Malefic Talons, right? So 8 Strength 8 attacks. They're damaged too, so I don't know if I can get through them, but maybe I can get some good smites off with the Plague Bird. Oh my goodness. Get some good smites off with the the Malignant Plaguecaster. These adjectives and stuff. Malignant Plaguecaster and the Demon Prince, maybe. Probably not though, but we'll see how it goes. I just have to get rid of this thing, and not only that, it is now directly in between my path of the Relic, which again, he just wall off, like I mentioned before, just wall off with the Morganaut, and then run away with the Relic with his infantry guys, with his boys, right? So that's, and then also too, those stupid freaking Deathcopters up there in the left are holding up an entire Plague Marine squad, and then the other Orc boy squad that he dejumped over there to the other side is holding up the other squad, and then I only had 3 Plague Marine squads. The only other one only has 1 dude left, right? So I'm really not feeling good at this point. That giant Morganaut, and not only that, it's just intimidating to look at. Like, it's huge. It's a huge model. It just looks scary. It gets in your head, right? So I'm trying to figure out exactly if it's even possible for me to take care of this thing. And yeah, so we'll see what happens on my turn, and then we'll see what happens on Kyle's turn. But I'm pretty worried at this point. Not gonna lie.
All right, psychic phase. We just threw a bunch of. Well, he tried to do putrescent vitality on himself. Failed it with a 4. Good job, Demon Prince. Then we did smite, and he got it on a warp charge. He got it like on 11. So the 6 wounds. I got 3 wounds on the Morkanaut, and shooting. The Plaguecaster is the only thing that could shoot. Excuse me, Plaguecaster. The Plague Burst Crawler got 2 wounds. 2 dead orcs there. All right, end of Death Guard turn 3, and we've got the Stompa down to 5 wounds.
Morkanaut.
Yeah, and then the Demon Prince down to 4 wounds from the Morkanaut. He saved, what was it? It was 6 Disgustings. Yes, you heard me correctly. 6 5-ups at a roll of 9 or 10.
9.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, it was 10.
Yeah, it was 10. Yeah, it's ridiculous. 2 Orks dropped, 2 Plague Marines dropped. So I think he won that one. And then no wounds on this Deathcopter, and he got 1 more Plague Marine. So that was definitely that stupid Deathcopter just sticking around.
Yeah.
And then everything up here is in combat, but nothing happened. They did nothing because they're up against the T8 Morkanaut.
Alright, so Morkanaut's not dead. He's wounded. Definitely wounded, down to 5 wounds. Which is doable in the next turn if I can survive, right? But I'm really worried that Morkanaut is going to squash my Demon Prince right before he gets to even fight again, which is completely easily within the realm of possibilities. Also, quick note, shameless plug, if you enjoy the painting of mainly the Morkanaut, the Plague Burst Crawler, and most of the Orks, then hit up Polar Painting. Polar like Polar Bear. Polar Painting on Facebook. Kyle, it's his little painting gig, and you can get him to paint you some models. He's a great painter. He also painted the other Demon Prince that died really early on, and that one is one of my favorites that he's done. But you can check out his art there. All right, end of the shameless plug. He is doing the whole thing with the Endless Tide dealie, where he brings back that full strength unit that I mentioned before. So yeah, I just spent lots of blood and tears and effort and sweat trying to murk those dudes. I did misunderstand the rule, however. All right, so real quick, he's bringing in his Deathcopter, his last Deathcopter from reserves, and putting him behind the wall so he can get a Overwatch free charge. But I did misunderstand the rules. I thought that once the Orc squad was completely killed off, then he could bring it back, and it's the other way around. If I completely killed him off, then he can't bring them back. So that was my bad. I might have diverted the Demon Prince, or I don't know, somehow put some more effort.
All right, so Orc turn 4, psychic and shooting phase done. The Warp Head smited the lone Plague Marine that is no longer there. That was fearlessly facing down the Morkanaut, and then he, what is it called?
Endless Green Tide.
Endless Green Tide at the end of his movement phase, or in the movement phase, he Endless Green Tided.
Unstoppable. I'm sorry.
The Orc squad that was there and brought them back right there. So he's hoping to get that recharge going on. And and then he brought this Deathcopter in from Scouting Ahead. Badoom. All right, turn 4 is over. The Morkanaut is dead. Yes, he fought back. He fought the Demon Prince, hoping to kill it, and he did not. He only did 1 wound on him, which he's got Tainted Regeneration, so he regained the wound and then he lost it again. So in this next turn he'll be at 5. Then this stupid Deathcopter got the range on the charge, charged him without any Overwatch, got 1 wound on him, and then fight back, got 1 wound back on the Deathcopter. Got 1 wound over here on Deathcopter, and then he failed the charge here, and yeah. Oh, and fun fact, it was the Malignant Plaguecaster that killed the Morkanaut, that finished him off. So nothing to shake a stick at, or Corrupted Staff, if you will. All right.
All right. So a couple things, right? It's huge that I didn't die and that I was able to kill the Morkanaut. It's just utterly huge. That's honestly puts me in great position for the rest of this game. The fact that he was able to get that Deathcopter into combat was just huge for him, because I will tell you that the Plaguecaster has two D6 two heavy D6 flamer weapons that are like strength 9 or 7, no, strength 7, AP -1, and flamers they automatically hit. So I was gonna turn and burn that Plague Crawler into the Orc boys and significantly hurt them. But because he got the Deathcopter in there, I was unable. I had to fall back, which means I was unable to shoot, and it made me very, very angry because he like rolled like a 10. He made some pretty ridiculous charges. He also failed to charge with that Orc boy squad that he brought back in from the side, which is, I think, the only charge that he failed this entire game. So that was good on him. Here, I'm being super cheeky and awesome, I will say, by jumping my Demon Prince, who can fly, so he can just fly over these dudes, into the back so I can target that Warp Head, and then get into the boys as well. Ton of attacks coming from the Demon Prince, and then now I don't have to worry about that Morkanaut. I can start worrying about culling out some of this chaff, getting it out of here. Because for the Demon Prince, it's mostly chaff. That Morkanaut was huge. Not just literally. It was also really big in the game, and I really needed to kill it, and I did. Miraculously, I will say. #blessed by the ruinous powers.
Okay, end of Death Guard turn 5, and Kyle has decided to call it. He does not deem this is winnable, so, and I tend to agree with him. So Demon Prince jumped over the group that was there in order to engage the Warp Head and the boys at the same time. He was able to kill, what was it, like?
All but 2 orcs.
Yeah, all but 2 orcs, and he was able to kill the Warp Head, so he was gonna auto fail the morale. So the orcs are gone. He doesn't have any CP left, so he can't insane heroism them or anything. So dead. The only thing over here now is the big mech, and then you've got this 1 health choppa and this 1 unit of boys, and yeah. So there's the Relic, and yeah, everything over there is going to be dead, and then that stuff's probably going to be dead from the Demon Prince, and yeah, it's just things came around. All right, so thanks for joining us, and yeah, catch us on the next.